Greetings, fanboys and fangirls. Jared here with another video review from Fanboys Forever. Today we're going to be talking about the Masters of the Universe Origins Horde Trooper, the evil mechanical enforcer of Horde. And this has been a release that I've been looking forward to for many months. Since the inception of the line, of course, I've often thought about getting my favorite Masters of the Universe army builder in this new Origins form. And man oh man, am I excited to get these guys cracked open. I'm a big army builder kind of guy, so I had to order multiples. And I may or may not have even more coming. So keep an eye on those Target listings and Amazon listings because these guys are showing up en masse right now. And hopefully they'll be on store shelves very soon as well. And of course, be sure to subscribe to the channel. You definitely don't want to miss all the other Masters of the Universe reviews, news, and rankings videos that we do here on Fanboys Forever. Also, be sure to like the video as it really does help the channel grow. And of course, it helps YouTube to share the video out to others who may be interested. Let's go ahead and get a good look at the packaging. The Horde Trooper here comes on our familiar Masters of the Universe Origins card, and you can see that we have the figure inside the bubble, and there's a new mini comic back there, and we get the evil Horde sticker, something I'm always happy to see. It says the mindless minions of Horde use their overwhelming numbers to overpower their enemies, and I am very excited about this because yes, that is Thunder Punch He-Man right there. And I am a big fan of that variant. It might be my favorite old He-Man variant of them all. So to me, this is just one step closer to that sweet confirmation of the figure. I'm also liking the crazy perspective stuff they did with the art here, with Hordak's face and his hand down there, almost looking on as He-Man decimates his armies. I also like the action feature being shown off, so it's just all terrific. Over here, it just shows you how the action feature works. You press it, it explodes. And we have a 6-pack back here showing you all of the new figures, as well as our standbys, He-Man and Skeletor. For those that it will help, here is the barcode. Here's just a quick look at all the pieces that are removable. Of course, these are modular, so Masters of the Universe Origins figures can kind of be switched around, so it's always fun to try out different combinations. But this is definitely an entertaining little read. It gives you an explanation for Anti-Eternia He-Man, and it's great to see him brought into this continuity, as well as what Sunman is doing here, and I think it's really fun. It ends pretty abruptly, though, so I definitely think they're going to be continuing this story about Sunman really soon, but it was a really fun little read. Alright, and here we have our Horde army freed from their plastic prisons, so let's go ahead and have a look at these guys. As I noted in my introduction, it's no secret just how much I've been looking forward to these guys coming out. The Horde Troopers are always just a visual that really thrill me. They kind of speak to me in both a vintage kind of 80s way and also kind of that 50s futurist kind of look, starting with their domed heads here with their yellow visors and moving down to all these wonderful little techie details all over the vest and the armor, the midsection with the giant like belt buckle looking thing, and then going down to the really robotic looking boots. And I especially like how unnaturally these kind of come out, and he almost has those giant Mega Man feet that we all know and love. Looking at the side here, we also have plenty of other cool details, almost like little connectors and fasteners, and a really nice detail with this red paint application right here on the hand, looking very much like a futuristic knight of some sort. On the back, you have all sorts of almost fake muscle tone. You have a butt circuit board right there, very important, you know, to control the butt. Same paint application for the other side there. And he also has the Horde symbol sculpted into his chest. So overall, the sculpting with this guy is some of the very best sculpting in the line. He's done with sort of a pearlescent, silvery plastic. It's not really done with paint. Of course, that means that there's going to be some little imperfections and things throughout like this, and those kinds of things are just present in all of the figures, so it has more to do with the way that the plastic is mixed and assembled and poured into the mold. Those kinds of things don't bother me at all, especially with these guys, because they're mass-produced robots. And that's the great thing about these, is you can army build the heck out of these fellas. The colors also just work in its favor so well. It definitely doesn't have the appearance of something that has just been painted the bare minimum and then set out from the factory. You have the reds, the blacks, the yellows, everything just works together so well, and it's just one of those rare feats in design to where you can tell there was a lot of care taken to make sure these guys would be very desirable when it came to army building. Not only that, but that great sculpting extends to his staff here. I've always been fascinated by the Horde Trooper staff. It is like a little demon or a little dragon here, and there's the bottom of it, and then there's the front, and you can see its eyes and things. and its wingspan. It's just really fascinating looking. It almost reminds me of some of the stuff we would see from Super Metroid, like some of the sculptures and things of some of the villains. Also, there's all sorts of great little tech details underneath the handle, and you can see those just sticking out. There's a very great Jack Kirby quality to these guys, especially from his New Gods stuff. Honestly, I've always felt that Horde Troopers looked right at home with, say, the Superpowers stuff from the 80s that Jack Kirby helped redesign. But that's not all. He does have an action feature that we'll talk about. All you do is you press this in, and it's kind of hard to activate because it takes a lot of pressure. But once you do, these pieces just kind of fall, and I had to flick that one down. But it all depends on kind of the position you have it in and how hard you press the button. For me, it's a little difficult to get it to activate, but on the inside, you can see more sculpting with kind of those circuits and gears, almost like it's the inner workings of the figure. You can see back there you have more of those gears and things. I just love seeing those kinds of details. As for the actual like chest pieces on the insides, it just kind of looks like this, which honestly, even though that is the mechanism, it really does look like some kind of circuits or something like that, and there it is on the back as well. And those just clip right back together. And then now usually when you press that in, you just have to kind of flick these down yourself. So I sort of wish this action feature activated a little differently, but I think the reason why it's so difficult to activate is because they were concerned about stability when you weren't using it. This is almost like a lock that you just disengage so that you can see the inside of the figure, and it's not exactly like a spring-loaded pop-out action feature. Let's go ahead and look at the articulation on this guy just really quick. The head has a tremendous amount of range, and they've really taken advantage of its robotic nature. Because of this giant collar, they're making sure that you can get lots of really good positions, because it would kind of prevent you from seeing the eyes if you couldn't. So you can go way up to where you can almost even see the bottom of it. You can go way down and bury it in where you wouldn't even know he has eyes. This is sleep mode, right? You can go to the side and kind of cock the head like it's trying to figure out, hey, is that He-Man dressed up in one of these outfits, which happened in Secret of the Sword. On down, you can see the waist has full rotation right there. And the action feature doesn't really interfere, but you can see it kind of like locks into different positions, which is pretty different than other Masters figures, and it feels different to handle. Over here at the arms, these are inhibited a little bit by this chest armor, so you can bring it out, and this goes really well. It goes above 90 degrees, but if you bring it in and you try to bring it up, this is about as far as you can go, trying to keep it straight to the body like that. But if you bring it out like this, then you can go further, and you can get something like this. Now notice that it's wanting to split this apart the more I pull it up, till eventually it does. If you want his arms to be straight up, yeah, sure, you can do that, but you have to have the chest armor down like that, which is great for those positions where He-Man, like it was showing on the back of the packaging, these guys are flying away and like that. So it does work out pretty well. It also frees up, while we have it open, another bit of articulation, which is this, where you can kind of lean it forward and lean it back, which once again is great for when these guys are being demolished. So that's the only way you're going to be able to use this, though, because when it's pressed together, it's not happening. He does have a single joint right here at the elbow. It's not a particularly good one because you have all of this insulation here that kind of keeps it from going any further, but it works out well enough, I guess. You can spin it around. There's a rotation. There is a hinge at the hands there. I really like how big and kind of goofy looking the hands are. It adds to that retro aesthetic that I'm liking so much about this guy. Moving on down, he can do a pretty decent kick, honestly. It's not that inhibited, especially if you turn it slightly like this. You can get it pretty well. He can also do the splits, and it's pretty decent. I don't expect these guys to be gymnasts. He does have a rotation at the knee. He does have a single joint, but it's a very effective single joint with very little of the sculpt blocking it. You can also see that, very strangely, he has a cut right here, and the reason they do this is to make it modular with other figures. Behold the glow-up, Skeletor.
That power is mine!
You also have a really good hinge that can go up and down, and a little bit of ankle rocker, but it's limited ever so slightly by the sides on this. The real test is, can he hold these sorts of positions, very wide ones, and he absolutely can. That is pretty good. Not bad at all. It took like nothing for me to get him to hold that position, so yeah, I would definitely call that a win. Alright, definitely some fun to be had with comparisons on this guy, so let's get right into it. First comparison is just with himself here. You can see that the army building potential with these guys is just fantastic. As I had previously mentioned, I do have a few more of these guys coming. It's something that I'm really excited about, to just get a massive army of these guys. because I think it's going to look fantastic when I pit them against the Masters and with the other members of the Evil Horde. Here's an interesting comparison. I know that not everybody has access to these variations of the Horde troopers, but you can see the Crimson and the Black version right there, and those were from the PowerCon exclusives from this previous year. And I think they just look great together. And what's awesome is if you have 3 of the standard Horde troopers, interspersing these guys with them looks just fantastic because it almost breaks up that color just perfectly. Especially in this configuration, it really does look like an awesome fighting force. Of course, it's not an Origins review unless there's some sort of Classics comparison. And yes, here we have the original Classics 2-pack that you got with the 2 different Horde troopers, 1 battle damage, 1 regular. Of course, these guys are much bigger, and I like the detailing more on the Classics version. I'm always going to be a Classics fanboy, it seems. It's always kind of funny for me to look at these guys be a little more inspired by the animation and have just a flat gray color scheme versus these new ones having that more silvery color scheme. It does make me think that, hey, there's enough room in the world for them to release another version of this later that's just that flat, kind of lighter matte gray, and I think that would look pretty great, actually. Of course, it'd be crazy not to show him with his boss, Hordak. Of course, it's almost sad how Hordak has programmed all of the Horde troopers who constantly remind him that he's the best boss in the world, buying him those embarrassing t-shirts and mugs, but it just makes him happy. Speaking of happy, let's see a more smiley Hordak. That's right, it's PowerCon Hordak. Obviously, this guy's color scheme is based way more on the Filmation cartoon, and they look great together, as you might expect. And of course, we have PowerCon Grizzlor. And a surprise to no one, they recently revealed that he was going to get a standard version to be in the line. So if you've not gotten a hold of this guy yet, don't worry, that standard version should be out here in a few months, and they look great together. And of course, we'll throw Mosquito in there just for fun. And the Horde is coming along quite nicely. And yes, here we have the Evil Horde together again for the very first time. Now, what's great about the Evil Horde is that this faction has a great focus on these robotic army builders, the Horde troopers, and your display just isn't complete without a bunch of these guys wandering around. Of course, I have them all in Castle Grayskull. If we had the Fright Zone, I would have been able to have decorated it up. Let's hope that we definitely get one of those. Hey, Snake Mountain shouldn't be too far off. It featured fairly prominently in that mini-comic, so let's hope that the hints keep coming. Well, friends, I surely hope that you've enjoyed this review today, and of course, be sure to subscribe to the channel. You definitely don't want to miss all the other Masters of the Universe reviews, news, and rankings videos that we do here on Fanboys Forever. Be sure that you check out my most recent version of the Masters of the Universe Origins ranking list. It's always a big favorite here on the channel, and I think you'll be surprised with some of my picks. Also, be sure to like the video, as it really does help the channel grow, and of course, it helps YouTube to share the video out to others who may be interested. And let me know down below in the comments what you think of this Horde Trooper. Are you as impressed as I am, and you just love these guys and you want to buy as many of them as you possibly can? Or are you underwhelmed or wish that Mattel had done something a little different when it came to how they handled this release? Either way, I'd love to hear your opinion down below. And as always, God bless you and yours, and I'll see you on Fanboys Forever. Fanboy out. Behold the glow-up, Skeletor.